We never knew we would have it worse than Buhari's government. Dele Momodu slams President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In his post online titled, "The Truth Tinubu Must Be Told." Hello everyone, welcome to newsspottv. Dele Momodu, the publisher of Ovation International, a world-class magazine that has reigned for over 30 years, is a man that is known not just as a veteran journalist, but also in recent years as a politician who has aligned at first with the struggle of democracy, MK Abiola and his group of AC, AD, APC. Then he later decamped to PDP. He's a staunch supporter and spokesperson for the presidential candidate for the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, who has caused a lot of storm in the teacup in the last few days. In response to this expose of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's certificate, Dele Momodu decided to share a letter, an act that has been synonymous with as an astute writer of repute. Now, let's take the article. It says, "Fellow Nigerians, once again, this is not the best of times in our dear beloved country, Nigeria. After we have thought gladly and gleefully that no government will be worse than the recent Buhari administration, we are now confronted by yet another monstrosity in less than 2 months on power. Tinubu's government started collapsing whatever positive legacy Buhari left behind. Yet, we would have assumed and expected a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be far better prepared and more visionary than Buhari and his last lecture team was. Unfortunately, this hasn't been the case. While I'm not about to give an overview of Tinubu's wobbly stewardship so far and so soon, I'm constrained to put my thoughts and unequivocal opinion on the ongoing Tinubu gate on paper. I'm doing this in my personal capacity as a Nigerian citizen and as a true and truthful friend of Tinubu. I believe only a true friend can look you straight eyeballs to eyeballs in the face and tell one of the world's most painful men the gospel truth. I have no doubt in my mind that the majority of Tinubu's so-called friends and hangers-on are pretentious hypocrites. Tinubu has also not helped himself by encouraging both royals and puppets alike to worship at his feet and turning him into a demigod. I'm convinced that they serve him no useful purpose. I will establish this fact in a minute. The Tinubu gate did not begin yesterday. It started after Tinubu returned from exile and metamorphosed into the governor of Lagos State in 1999 and instantly became the biggest beneficiary of our epic battles in exile during the Nadeco days. In all honesty, we were all happy that he was amply compensated for his salutary efforts. But unknown to us, trouble was brewing. We didn't know how or what led to the legal luminary, Chief Gani Fawayemi, to exhume all manner of false declarations contained in the form submitted for Tinubu's gubernatorial bid that time. On October 11, 1999, just months after Tinubu contested and won his election, Gani Fawayemi's powerful interview was published on the cover of Newswatch magazine with the screaming headline, "Why Tinubu Must Go, Gani Fawayemi." The fearless lawyer also granted another interview on the cover of the Source magazine with an even more acerbic headline, "Tinubu is a criminal," Gani Fawayemi said. And the writer below deserves 10 years in jail. On top of the same magazine was published a worrisome story, the Tinubu story, the source under threat. This was the first telltale sign of the new and toxic Lagos state to come. A Lagos of one man, one permanent ruler, reminiscent of the Sicilian mafia, which we privately rechristened the Cosa Nostra of Nigeria. Some members of our exile confraternity were naturally alarmed, but were somehow timid and thus carelessly dismissed Gani's case as at the very best alarmist and unnecessarily meddlesome. A few of us who were very close to Gani Fawehinmi knew it could be difficult and of no effect to approach him and try to persuade him to drop the case. The other sad revelation was when some of Tinubu's commissioners started fretting and sweating profusely. God is my witness. Many of them, out of panic about the imminent impeachment of Tinubu, were stylishly dissociating themselves from their boss. We heard all kinds of gibberish from some of them who are even in government today. We brought our integrity into this government and we can't allow anyone to tarnish it. Let us digress a bit. One of them, extremely close to Tinubu, was the first to tell us about the falsification of Tinubu's age, the identity of his original parents from Iragbiji, his forced academic records, and so on. This chain smoker claimed absolute knowledge of Tinubu's life. He told us in my Accra home that anyone who tells Tinubu the truth is instantly marked down as an enemy. So he has stopped telling him the truth. With this kind of mindset, you can imagine what quality of advice Tinubu gets regularly. Then out of the blues, my very daring and loyal friend, Tokumbo Afikuyomi, decided to bite the bullet on behalf of Tinubu. What he did was reminiscent of the Lamb of God who took away the sins of the earth. He, like a kamikaze soldier, took absolute responsibility for the errors contained in Tinubu's files. Miraculously, Tinubu was saved, and we were all relieved. Everyone is asking me, how has Tinubu compensated Afikuyomi? And my answer is, I don't know. It is noteworthy that Festus Keyamo had jumped on the bandwagon of those seeking to impeach Tinubu at that time. This is also another story for another day. I cannot wait for my memoirs to be ready in order to put names and faces to the main dramatis personae. Let's now fast forward to the year 2002. There was a popular magazine known as The Week. It planned a cover story on Tinubu. Somehow, the story leaked out to the then governor of Lagos State. Tinubu immediately and with automatic alacrity reached out to the publisher of the magazine, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and pleaded that the scandalous story should be dropped. Out of love and respect for his friend, Atiku reached out to the Week magazine management and got the story to be stepped down. The editors were miffed by this development, and in the aftermath led to the resignation and exit of the editor, Mr. Simeon Kolawole. The meat of my epistle today is that there are many didactic lessons to pick from this Tinubu gate. Tinubu eventually left office in 2007, but he never really left Lagos alone. He became Nigeria's ultimate godfather, who determined almost to the pin who gets what. Many of his acolytes knew he was capable of turning them into emergency billionaires and were ready to stand ramrod on his mandate. This, I believe, is the crux of the matter. Now, why do I blame Tinubu and his die-hard fans? Two major reasons are carelessness, or is it negligence, and recklessness. Why would a man who left office since 2007, 16 long years ago, fail to clean up the records that nearly got him impeached in the first instance? And given the fact that he couldn't have personally handled those documents himself, why did the hordes of minions claiming to love him till eternity fail to deliver a world-class file for his documents? The laws of Nigeria never insisted that a presidential candidate must attend a university. In the last 16 years, Tinubu should have ensured his personal documents were thoroughly checked to be squeaky clean before submitting them to INEC. If necessary, he could have easily gone back to school. Atiku still went to school recently to update and upgrade himself and tried to erase all the previous controversial details. As for his conflicting date of birth, he should have settled for a preferred birthday date like President Olusegun Obasanjo did. It can never be a crime that a child's parents did not record or obtain his birth certificate. As for claiming to have worked for Deloitte and others, he should have limited himself to, I have worked for big multinationals globally and they truly enjoyed my services and valued my contributions, without mentioning specific companies and dates. As for parentage, I would have told the world about my humble background and poor parentage. It is nothing to be ashamed of, and it is not a crime to be adopted and acquire the name of one's foster parents. Everybody knew how Chief MK Abiola played the role of a father figure in my life, including traveling all the way to Ijebu-Igbo and Ijebu-Ode for my wedding in 1992. But that never stopped me from celebrating my poor parents. And if there were peculiar reasons for obliterating one's original family history, that can still be easily explained. A public figure cannot afford to keep too many secrets. For far too long, Tinubu has blatantly refused to open on his private life to anyone or to any member of the public. The repercussions of this stiffness have been hugely calamitous to him and his immediate family. With more openness, this could have been avoided. Let me now go to the specific handling of the Chicago scandals. For me, Tinubu and his noisy supporters have made matters worse than it should have been. Only his blind and shameless supporters will continue to argue over a saga that started over 5 decades ago. All of us who knew the truth and looked the other way brought this calamity upon our country, and it is grossly unfair. Instead of Tinubu standing up as a man to offer sincere and unreserved apologies to Nigerians, his group of vipers are busy insulting the long-suffering people of Nigeria and studiously rubbing salt and pepper on our festering wounds. This is most unfair. This can only aggravate the anger of our citizens, especially the youth. The first thing Tinubu should do is to climb down his high horse and experience reality for once. No man, no matter how powerful, can achieve everything by force all the time. The popular story of Efunseto Aniwura Iyalode Ibadan is very instructive. Power is transient. I'm certain there is a hand of God in the latest eruption about Tinubu's record, which has refused to go away. It is no longer about Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso, Showore, and others. This is about Nigeria. Atiku has played his part honorably at home and abroad. What he achieved in Chicago was a monumental victory for our democracy. Because of Atiku, many Nigerians will have their pride restored. The burden has already been transferred to all of us. Whatever the outcomes of the Supreme Court case, it is obvious to me that a new era becomes for us all, except for those who choose to be voluntary slaves. So that's the long article posted by Dele Momodu. Now let's take a few comments. The first commenter here says, "Thank you so much for standing up for the truth." Another said, "Chief Dele Momodu, you are absolutely correct and in order." Another person said, "The real truth, even Sheyi Ogulewe, former Minister of State for Works, knows this too. Jeg had opportunity to nail him there, but sluggishness of him." Another said, "Who do we offend in this country? Can you forge a certificate you have? Is it possible? I don't understand. I am telling you, I do ask myself the same questions times over times. Does it mean people can't think themselves again? Or does it mean the poverty, bribery, and corruption in our system is affecting our brains that we don't believe in any truth again? Even if someone testified to a matter, they will say the person has been bribed, thinking as our system corrupt, so other countries' systems are corrupt too. Someone will just sit somewhere and turning your mind to a simple matter you can think by yourself because of what it will gain from the petitioner. I weep for this country. I pray this set of people will set this country on fire if government is not sanctioning them and control the use of internet based on freedom of speech." Another said, "Thank you so much, Chief Dele Momodu. May Almighty God bless you abundantly for this truthful statement." Another said, "Thanks for likes of Yinka Odumaki. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And thanks also to someone and people like Dele Momodu. It wasn't Tinubu's fault. It was the fault of some Nadeko founding fathers like Baba Abraham Adesanya, Baba Ayadebanjo. But what we could have asked is so-called die-hard fans of this man is that, was it true that Mama Abibatu Magaji is not the biological mother of President Tinubu? And was it true that Tokumbo Afikuyomi was part of those people that was sent to the burial of his mother in Iragbiji then? What a pity for Mr. President Tinubu with a myriad of life of questionable character who cannot possess Omoluabi." Another commenter said, "Because of Atiku, many Nigerians will have their pride restored. I've always believed that people who hold our country down will eat up themselves one day." Another said, "Everything about Bola Tinubu is fraudulent. The man is a fraud, his person, family, and life." Another said, "What a cupboard of worms, vipers, and scorpions in Tinubu's history. Those praising and supporting him are his worst enemies. Another said, well read and noted, sir. Thanks for this piece of information. I wish all meaningful Nigerian citizens will understand the delicate situation we found ourselves facing with Tinubu. Another said, thank you, Mr. Dele. Generational slaves will attack you no matter how you put the truth to them in the face. Another said, Uncle Dele, please don't worry. Any abuses that might melt out on you due to your letting the cat out of basket, I'm sure some nemesis will catch up with them and their principal partners by God's grace. Another said, Atiku Abubakar is angry that Tinubu just gave the presidency the first shot and he won, while Atiku Abubakar has been a serial failure for all his life. Another said, President Tinubu should resign and face the full weight of the law for perjury and forgery. Another said, a bad penny always turns up. Tinubu's criminal record cannot be hidden forever. The whole world has seen the truth. So these are a few comments we can take. There are so many comments rolling in. What's your opinion on this? It is a very, very tricky moment for Nigerians, both home and abroad, as this case of the certificate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from Chicago State University has triggered debate and different perspectives shared. What every Nigerian wants right now is a country that can work with good record, integrity, and a country that can function with Nigeria standing again proudly. See you in the next video. Bye for now.